Well, there's a rather interesting situation going on right now. A lot of Japanese users on Twitter are sick of Twitter, and they've decided to leave Twitter. And this is probably not surprising to you if you've been following my channel, especially for a little while. You could probably remember segments I've done many times in the past talking about Japanese people, often Japanese artists, who get harassed on Twitter. And many of those artists, many of those people from Japan have already left Twitter. However, of course, there's still a lot that use it. But as mentioned, now a lot of those people are also leaving Twitter too. And they've actually made an alternative. And there's this really weird, really weird thing going on where some people on Twitter are mad at all these Japanese users for leaving Twitter. And it's especially weird because a lot of those people talk about how much they hate Elon Musk and they hate Twitter. And they talk about leaving Twitter. But then when other people leave Twitter, they get mad. So that's a bunch of weird stuff in of itself. But let's talk about the Japanese stuff specifically. So I've had a lot of people tagging me to this tweet and also DMing me about this tweet. So thank you all very much for the news tips. Appreciate it. And here it is with over 71,000 likes, over 2.4 million views. It reads, heard Japan made their own Twitter. Checked it out. This is the first thing on the Welcome to Misskey tips post. So Misskey is the name of the new site. So it's like, welcome to Misskey, the new site, tips for using the new site, essentially. Says it's based and they think they're going to make a Misskey. Let's see what this post says. Please leave Twitter culture at the door. Stop with the frickin' cat, of course. Misskey is not Twitter, so please don't treat it the same way. Here, users are already very diligent in censoring NSFW or dark content, so if you don't like something, please ignore it. This is used as a content warning. It is usually followed up with censored text/images. There are many tools you can use to better curate your experience without causing problems for other users. You can mute users. You can remove followers. You can mute threads. You can hide images by clicking 3 dots. Let's not fight over morals or fictional characters. Be polite, respectful, and understanding of each other here. Well, we're going to talk about the public reception to this, of course. People who are happy about it and joining it, and people who are very mad about it and hating it and acting all crazy over this. Before we do, though, let's talk about this briefly. Because personally for me, I've seen so many people get mad at Twitter and say they're leaving Twitter for various reasons and talk about various other sites over the years. This has happened multiple times over the years where people are like, I'm leaving Twitter. And then they go to some other site. And then they usually end up coming back to Twitter. Or you see this other option B, which is they say they're going to leave Twitter and then they never actually leave Twitter anyways. And that's fairly common too. However, personally for me, I fully acknowledge how awful and toxic Twitter can be. Although to be fair, I also acknowledge that there are some people who have perfectly fine experiences with it. If they only use it for following art accounts or something, maybe they can avoid most of the toxicity. But even that, you're kind of Twitter absolutely forces toxic stuff on you. A lot of it is even just as simple as the sidebar where they push certain news stories and trending topics onto you. And sometimes that stuff is horrific. I've seen fatalities pushed into the news feed and it's bro, I'm not trying to come on here and see that. I just want to see some cute art or something, So yeah, there's some issues. But what I'm getting at though is despite how bad Twitter can be, I've never felt like adding another social media platform to what I use. Recently people were talking about threads, right? And you saw a lot of people using Twitter and using threads. And I saw that and I was just thinking to myself, bro, the last thing I need to do is spend more time on social media. Although, let me be very clear. I talk about stuff on Twitter, obviously, quite often, but I don't really spend much time on Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, first of all, you probably already know that I'm pretty inactive on it. And if you don't follow me on Twitter, you can look up my analytics. You can see I barely tweet. That's because I just don't really like using Twitter. I'll hop on it for work purposes early in the morning, see what people are tagging me to, what people might want me to talk about. And then I'll hop off Twitter pretty much for the rest of the day. Might hop on once later just to see if there's any crazy stuff that went down that I want to talk about the next day. But yeah, I don't really use Twitter very much. Although I will say I like interacting with you guys on Twitter. Sometimes I'll tweet and see some funny responses and stuff from you guys, and that's always nice. But then just being on the platform, I'll just inadvertently see toxic stuff going on. And it's just rather go outside or game or something. Now that said, I have to admit, I've considered getting a blue check mark on Twitter just so I can troll people in the responses, because then your responses are pushed to the top, and there's definitely some shenanigans to be had with that. So that's potentially amusing. Maybe I'll do that. And then going back to this new site, Misskey, I probably won't join it myself for a few reasons. The stuff I already outlined, one, I just think it's better to spend less time on social media in my daily routine, so it'd be counterintuitive to join. And there's some somewhat odd or questionable stuff in some of the TOS, so Yeah. However, at the same time, I'm not going to get mad at anyone for joining it if they join. And it's really funny that there's so many people mad at people for joining this new site. So let's get back to the news. So we left off on this post. And then the OP added this, saying, dang, basically I can draw anything and won't get mass reported. Say less. And posting an image that says, attention overseas community members. Important notice regarding registration and content policies on Misskey.io. 1. For our users from the EU and UK, please be aware that Misskey cannot accept registrations due to non-compliance with GDPR standards. Additionally, registrations via VPN or disposable email addresses may lead to account freezes. 2. As a Misskey.io originates from Japan, cultural differences may expose you to content that could be uncomfortable or even considered illegal in your home country. While such content is legal and commonplace in Japan, please be aware that Misskey.io cannot take responsibility for any issues or repercussions this might cause you. 3. In regards to content that may or may not be suitable for public viewing, we strongly recommend users to apply the NSFW flag. For detailed guidelines on this, please refer to the Japanese versions of our rules. And I want to mention on this note, there's already been an issue apparently with overseas users causing a bit of problems on the website. So we'll get to that in a moment. 4. We strongly urge all users to carefully read and understand the terms of use despite any language barriers to ensure a safe and respectful experience on the platform. Your understanding and cooperation with these policies are deeply appreciated. Together, let's maintain a respectful and mindful community for everyone. So here's some of the public reception. Here's someone that doesn't like the new site getting 597 likes on their tweet saying, I don't know how to tell you this, but if your social media has a section that says, let's not fight over morals, you run from it as far as you can. This one's just kind of funny because this person probably has never fought for anything in their entire life, but they're going to act like they fight for morals on twitter.com or something. Buddy, you tweet. It's not that big of a deal. This tweet with 634 likes calling out the upset people, saying that they're all stupid and acting racist as well, and to not even join the platform because no one wants them there. Then you have a tweet saying that anyone using the site essentially is a pedo, and right below that, someone's saying that all the right people are fuming over this, and it's beautiful. Oh, here's another one that's really upset, and they even insult all of Japan over this too. Another tweet says, I'm begging y'all to actually read before impulsively joining sites you don't know about. This site is blatantly enabling weirdos to post whatever they want without consequences. I wouldn't be surprised if someone got banned for calling these people out. Right below that, someone making fun of the upset people and adding this image that says, what was it he said that got everyone so upset? Be kind to each other. Oh yeah, that'll do it. Because again, in TOS at the end, it said something about like trying to all get along or something. Night 11 for the weirdos who can't tell artists to die or falsely accuse them for art they personally don't like. I don't see it taking off, but it's funny how the Chronically Online gets so upset at a site telling them not to treat fictional characters as real people. This person basically saying it's a website for like Epstein or something. And another very clever and very original person here. And it's like, bro, why are you trying to imply that Twitter doesn't already have its own problem with that issue? Like, what are you trying to cover for those people? What are you, one of them? NSFW, not safe for Westerners, the website. And another tweet here just mocking the people that have been seething over this news. So you can see there's a lot of people happy about this and a lot of people really mad about it. And, you know, I've only went through a couple of examples. There's like hundreds, if not thousands of tweets like this. However, as mentioned earlier in the video, there's already been an issue over on Misskey. Take a look at this. It says, fellow overseas artists, please read. I see many JP people uncomfortable because you are not tagging, hiding, or censoring NSFW properly. You may be banned, and everyone who renoted your uncensored work may be banned too. I know you're hyped, but please read the rules. This is not Twitter. This is a JP website, and we must be respectful with the boundaries and rules. Remember, Asian people are more private, and that's fine. They don't have to accommodate to us. We are the guests here, and we are entering their home with our shoes on. If you're respectful, you'll enjoy. Way better stay here. They're amazing and very welcoming. Please respect them. Goes on to outline some suggestions and TOS stuff, which I'll skip, and then ends by saying the website's not owned by a billionaire, but by individuals using their savings and our donations. And then asking people to essentially donate if they can, if they enjoy the website. And I will point out, I like how they have like this like reaction thing at the bottom. I don't know, looks kind of cool. But yeah, that's the situation. Thank you for tuning in. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments, and appreciate your time. Yeah, I'll see you there. And of course, in the next segment on the way.